All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second edition of The Last Call. Without further ado, let me welcome, first of all, your hosts, as always, on The Last Call, ECW Original, The Sandman.
Hey, we made it to our second week. I can't wait till we're doing our 200th show.
I know, man. This is great. We've got a great response from the last episode. We're on episode 2 tonight as we're going to be talking about global warming. At this time, let me welcome his co-host, NWA legend, Baby Doll, the Perfect 10.
Hi, guys. It's a pleasure to be back. Thank you.
Hey, Baby Doll. What's going on, girl?
Nothing. How are you? That was so much fun last week. I cannot believe this is going to be great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Actually, there's a couple other things that are bothering. Like, I'm so inundated on the news right now with this this Michael Vick thing, and I think I would be remiss if I didn't say something about it. Just leave the guy alone. The guy served his time. Just leave him alone. It's ridiculous how much coverage there is. I mean, on CNN, CNBC, Sports Center. It's like, oh my God, the guy just got out of jail. You know, he paid his debt to society. Let's move on. Jeez.
I agree. You know, actually, when the whole Michael Vick thing started, Gary Wolf was really high on the making sure that he gets punished and all that by the court system, and he was posting all over MySpace, but he hasn't even touched the subject since Michael Vick's release.
Huh. Yeah, it's just, I just think it's crazy how we over-sensationalize, like, anything for, like, a news story, you know what I mean? And it's funny because I wish but when it comes down, I think about it, when it comes to global warming, how come we weren't covering this that much 10 years ago when we should have been?
I agree. You know, it seems like the news people find something to focus on and don't cover like a lot of the things that really need to be talked about. They'd rather find little tiny things that are happening in their town than things that are affecting everybody around the world.
Well, that's what we're here for. So I want to hear, if is global warming affecting you? What do you think about Michael Vick? I know it's affected me. It has never once rained 9 straight days in Philadelphia, and it happened last week. I mean, everywhere through the Mid-South, I mean, there's all kinds of flooding. You got the forest fires in like California and stuff like that. Global warming is happening. It's here, and if we don't do something about it, it could be the end of our civilization.
I agree. Baby Doll, you got anything you want to say on that?
I don't agree. I really don't. I think that people as a whole, we are such a piddly amount of our existence on this world, and I don't think that our existence is going to affect it at all. The ozone layer has been up there, that the holes get larger and smaller depending on the what time of year it is, what year it is, El Nino, the whole thing is just weather changes. I mean, I'm from West Texas, and weather changes all the time. So,
well, yeah, there has been a cycle. Weather goes in cycles, like the stock market goes in cycles. But you can't refute the fact that like 10 of the last 15 years have been the hottest ever on record. We have Greenland melting at an alarming rate. We also have the Antarctic melting at an alarming rate. Any other time when the Earth was going through a cycle, it was either Greenland was melting a little bit or the Antarctic was melting a little bit. This time they're both happening at the same time. And if Greenland melts, it's already a third gone. It's a third less the size it was 10 years ago. So which in effect will rise seawater, which would put parts of Florida underwater, New Orleans underwater, Manhattan underwater. I think it's really going to affect us in the long haul.
Yeah, I mean, here in Oregon at least, usually we're in the 60s, 70s, even 80s sometimes, and I mean, it's been raining and it just changes back and forth. We actually already have callers calling in, though. I do believe we have Alex R. on the line from California. He called in last week. At this time, I do believe we're going to welcome him on the air. So, Alex, go ahead, brother.
Hey, how are all you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good, hi.
Good. I wanted to ask, I guess, if you ever saw, I guess, the Al Gore documentary on the global warming that, I guess, won the Oscar.
Of course, yeah. Of course I did. That's where I get a lot of my facts.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good.
Do you think that it was like, I guess, pretty much portrayed, I guess, pretty much like it was, by Al Gore? And
I think it was balanced. I think it was definitely a balanced, documentary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I guess, do you think that, I guess, what do you think may happen with, if we don't kind of like look, more into global warming, within the future and such? What do you think might happen to, I guess, our environment and climate?
It makes the hurricanes that come through the United States stronger, and it makes more of them. Two, the more CO2 you put into the atmosphere, and then when it rains, that like acid rain drops down into our ocean, and when that drops down into our ocean, that kills actually animals, and which would eventually kill. It's kind of like the butterfly effect. If you take an animal out of the chain, then the chain starts to break down. And we, as humans, I believe we came from the sea. I don't believe in God. I don't believe there was a God and Adam and Eve. With the apple and all that stuff. Our bodies are made of 75% water. Why do you think water is so important? Why do you think we're looking for it on Mars right now? Water is the existence of life, and we can't screw up our water system.
I would agree with that. I'd like to ask, maybe hear from Baby Doll, I guess, if you've seen the Al Gore documentary and such.
I have. I am not an Al Gore supporter. I'm not. I just I haven't been, and I've been following Al Gore for like over 20 years. I do agree that we have to protect our water systems. Our water systems are very, very important. I do completely agree with that. I think that the worst thing that we could be doing now is plastics, like all these plastic water bottles and everything being plastics, because it really doesn't recycle well, not like glass and tin and steel. I think that will be our downfall. I really do. Because there's just nowhere to put it. There's just nowhere to put millions and millions of plastic bottles.
They're like diapers. Diapers last in a landfill for like 20 years or something like that.
Dang.
Actually, they really don't go away.
Do you have recycling? Do you guys have recycling in your neighborhoods?
I've been recycling for over 40 years, guys. I have been green before it was even hip to be green. I've been recycling. Yes. I haven't had a car for 4 years. I mean, how green is that?
Wow.
Yes, I ride my bike and I'll walk unless, I do trips, but then I rent a car. But I've actually been recycling here in Fayetteville for like 2 years. Everywhere I go, I find recycling centers. I always recycle. I take the plastic bags back to the store. Yeah, I take the plastic bags to the store. I do everything.
Oh, wow. Yeah. We actually, out here we have stores that you can actually, like, if you save up your plastic bags and your yogurt cartons and all that stuff, you can actually take them in and recycle them, as well as we do have recycling in our trash and everything.
And I'm sure in California they do all that, right?
Oh, actually, he hung up. We do actually. Another thing we do out here is they gave us separate trash bins for our recycling, regular for like one for glass and one for like cardboard and all that.
Right.
Yeah, so, I have here in Delaware.
Yeah, so, I mean,
we have somebody else on the line, Corey? Let's get to the callers.
No, we don't have anybody else on the line at this time. I would like to welcome anybody who wants to call in and discuss tonight's topics, the Michael Vick stories, as well as global warming.